Last time we got to speak a little bit about, that thought of self-love and self-acceptance and still having a desire to be in a certain place. And I oftentimes think back to when I started this journey and how I felt in the beginning. And I don't necessarily know if it came from a place of self-love and self-acceptance. Um, you know, and I don't know how you felt when you started the journey.
Well, and yeah, I think that, and we did touch on this last time that maybe in the beginning, what got us to start was a different goal than what happened once we were in the process and the realizations that came with that and that work we put in to shift our mindset. And I think that is how you can feel good about where you are at that moment, but still continue to work towards a bigger goal. So you don't, you may not be at your optimal health or at your goal weight or at the fitness level that you desire, but that you can still reflect on the progress you've made and where you've come from. And even giving yourself grace when things aren't perfect and how to keep making progress even through those trouble spots. So what do you think, what is something that has been helpful to you or worked for you to keep you moving along towards those bigger goals?
Well, I think you made a really really good point. There's two parts I think with it, but giving myself the grace has been a huge thing. For me, and I think we're in the same boat. We're both moms of three kids and working and trying to juggle all of those plates at times. I guess wanting to do it all and do it all well and there's certain times that just can't happen and going to that feeling of failure versus giving myself that grace, that it's okay that I'm not doing it all at the same time was a game changer for me because when I came from the feeling of failure, I did things because I wasn't good enough or I needed to change. But when I came from the mindset of grace, I came from that self love, and I'm doing this for myself because I love my body, I love my mind, and I want to be better at whatever it was. For me, it was I wanted to be better at handling the stress of being a parent. I wanted to be, more organized. I wanted to, have a better relationship and communication with my husband, and I wanted a lot of different things, but understanding that it's not all going to come at once. I think we say this often, there's no magic pill, there's no magic poof wand that it's all going to, be okay. I mean, even nowadays, look what we're going through. It's not, there's different balances with things. And when we can give ourselves the grace, or when I give myself the grace of saying it's not all going to be rising at the same time, I take that pressure off myself.
Mhm.
And I, go
And
ahead.
I think noticing that, like, when you're giving yourself grace, it's not like letting yourself off the hook. I think that can be confusing to people too, that, oh, like, so I messed up, it doesn't matter. That's not really what giving yourself grace is. It's more of that mentality or mindset of, I didn't reach my goal today. Like, I slipped up on my nutrition or I missed my workout. But now I'm going to reset myself because today's a new day. And that thing that I didn't do great yesterday, that's going to be my small step today. That's going to be my goal today, to just improve on what I couldn't do yesterday. And I think that's what giving yourself grace is. It's not, beating yourself up for it and spiraling into a bigger problem or a bigger nutrition slip up or more missed workouts. It's just that I'm going to reset, I'm going to try again, and I'm just going to make sure I make some progress in that trouble spot right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's right on, and I think it's the game changer between going that negative spiral and taking those small steps, to go up and reach towards your goals. So I think that that's such a great key and a great shift for me. And I've noticed over the 5 years, each time a roadblock comes, when I have that shift, that progression comes again, and it's a, I don't want to say a quick way to become unstuck, but it is a great tool to have you be able to become unstuck much quicker, than many times that I've been stuck and stayed in that roadblock for a long time.
And when you can reflect on that progress and measure it, even in those small steps, I think that's what continues to build the motivation towards the bigger goal. So that you can see, okay, like I am moving in the right direction. And you mentioned control before, and the situation we're in right now, obviously, there are many things that are out of our control. So when we focus in on those things that we can control, and even if it's just one thing at a time, like I know for me in these last 3 weeks, my one small goal was to show up and work out every day, like to not miss a workout. And there were other things about what was going on that weren't perfect. And there were things I could have controlled more, but my focus was just to make sure that I showed up for those 21 days, for those 21 workouts. And I was able to do that by just keeping my focus on that. So now it's like, okay, I'm in a little bit of a groove. The next thing I want to focus back in on is better nutrition. And I can control that. Even though this is a difficult situation, I can do better than I was doing. So once you get in the groove with one part, you can put in the other part. And I think that's very similar to the mentality you had when you first started, that I'm just going to focus on this one thing right now because that's all I can do.
Yeah, I think the smallest steps that I can take, I've been on the mindset journey, with this, of the smallest steps are still progression. Once I took that timeline frame off, like I needed to lose this amount of weight, or I needed to do this, or this by a certain amount of time. The only thing we have is time. And when I took that off and said, I'm just going to keep making progress, it enabled me to take those smaller steps at faster paces. And, one of the things that has really helped me over the past year and a half is like what you were talking about with that control, and, learning to control the controllable and let the rest go, because it really is a struggle for me, and I'm sure many others, of like when you want to help somebody else, and I'm a helper. I want to help other people first. Learning, first of all, that I needed to take care of myself, but learning that whatever you put out there, I can't control what else happens. I can't control what my kids do with the information that I give them. And, I can do certain things. I can let it go, and I can move on and focus towards my goals. So the more that I control the controllable and let the rest go, the more I'm able to focus towards my goals.
Yep.
So I think that those are some really, great points of grace, and letting the rest of it go. So I love that part of this conversation today, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye.